Ooh, it's so spooky again. Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Piglet here, alongside with me, Sonic the Hedgehog here, and we are back for some more of yet again for the likes of the Merxy Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party 10 for the Nintendo Wii U. So yesterday we have managed to play through the first board in the forms of in Mario Party 10 Mario Party mode. That's what appears to be Mushroom Park, which to me, Mushroom Park just feels kind of uninspired and all that stuff, as you guys should probably already notice at this point. So today, thankfully though, we can at least move on to today's video for this point, and that was the fact that we're going to be moving on to the second board in the game, specifically the Mario Party mode in Mario Party 10, and that is known as Haunted Trail. So yeah, it might have played out very similar to Boo's Horror Castle from Mario Party 9, except, well, we'll get to that in a moment temporarily. But for now, we got ourselves 1 vs 3 minigame to play with in Piggy in the Middle. So solo player, slide with 2 to cut off the pass, and rivals just pass the ball with a 1 or 2, depending on what spots you're actually on. So, in the North American version of this minigame is also known as Keep Away Mayhem. So, I've no idea why they managed to change that name, and sadly we just failed that strategy right there. But, nonetheless, we'll just have to let Spike able to win that minigame. So, yeah, that's kind of underwhelming for that particular tactics right there, but either way though, whatever. We'll try to get some more mini stars along the way, but either way though, we're gonna have to leave it to that. So, you know, obviously, as you can see on screen, that we're actually going to be playing as Toadette for this point today. And also, as a result, for the opponents department, we are actually compete against with Wario, Luigi, and of course, the newcomer of the actual Mario Party playable debut, and that is Spike himself. Speaking of Spike, here we go with 2 vs 2 minigame, Bump, Set, Spike, which appears to be a volleyball kind of minigame. Sync up, set, and spike the ball. So depending on what scenarios we're going to be going into, that some players usually going to have to hold the Wii Remote sideways, and some players have to able to hold the Wii Remote vertically. So in this case, that we actually going to be holding the Wii Remote sideways. So this meaning about the fact that we need to time our you know, that thing right here as you can see on screen, and then the other player on our team, then it can able to do, well, what else? Just spike it. So even then though, it might be pretty simple, self-explanatory if you get the hang of it though, but either way though, that's as far as we can able to say about it. So yeah, a few things we want to explain about this for this point today is the fact that today's day is of course the 3rd of May today, in this case in 2020, so something interesting happened, specifically when it comes to the forms of other things worth mentioning for, and that is, recently we did manage to pick up ourselves our physical versions of Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 on the PS1. Now, if you guys are probably thinking that you've already got the all 3 games potentially on the PS3 downloadable version of it. Well, to me though, I just like to become a little bit of a collectible side of things. Plus, we've already got ourselves the Insane Trilogy for the PlayStation 4, as well as Nintendo Switch version, so that way we can able to play Insane Trilogy on the Nintendo Switch on the go. So yeah, we feel like trying to able to go for that stuff. So anyways, let's go ahead and get some more mini stars here, and hopefully we're not gonna come across into that the hazard on this board, which appears to be, well, we got ourselves the returning Boo hazard from the likes of Mario Party 9 in Boo's Horror Castle, except, well, the major difference is this time around though, is that as you can see on screen that Spike is now approaching to the Boo. This means that he'll lose 5 mini stars as opposed to the half, which to me feels kind of a little bit, I don't know, better than the likes of how it does it on, you know, losing half of your mini stars routine from Mario Party 9, but except the fact that, well, it feels kind of a short side of things, I have to be honest here. But either way though, let's go ahead and get ourselves, you know, the next few dice blocks in between, well, to be more specifically, the famous 456 dice block, not to be confused as Kumbonomai 456, as in a number channel for that part. So yeah, that seems pretty cool. And also, as you can see on screen, that warrior managed to able to land on that boo roulette thing, which basically what happens is that it's all depending on... Oh, really? Oh, great. Thanks a lot, you greedy man. So in this case, with that boo roulette, they always have to be forced to able to deal with the roulette thing, and then once you've done the roulette thing, basically you'll pass it to someone else instead, and then they'll all obviously trying to able to lose the actual mini stars in the process. So yeah, it seems kind of underwhelming though, but either way though, we'll hopefully try to find a way to able to get rid of the boo. Which reminds me, back in Mario Party Island Tour, that Boo was actually become a playable character in that game. I have no idea why they toned it back down to likely going back onto the hazard kind of scenario again. Which, that was before when Super Mario Party came around, that Boo becomes playable again. And then, I believe technically also counts for Mario Party Star Rush as well. That, since you can able to actually utilize the, Mario Shuffle amiibo, that means you can able to actually play as Boo on that specific mode only. So either way though, I just want to classify that. So even though it's kind of strange, honestly. Alright, something worth mentioning also is that both Toadette and Spike are both unlockable characters in this game. To get them, however though, we must able to purchase those two on Toad's Room on the shop mode. So even then though, and I believe they cost about 600 Mario Party points each. So even then I just want to classify that for you guys, just in case if you want to, well, want to really know about this. So either way though, let's move on to the next free-for-all minigame, which is Fruit Scott's Curry, or Scurry as far as I'm right to say for this point. Collect lots of fruits. Now I believe I remembered this minigame back in E3 2014. This is one of the first ever minigames they actually did show us that. During forms of, well, not in the Bowser Party mode, but that was on the Mario Party mode. They did manage to able to show this off during forms of E3 during 2014, which I can't even believe. It's almost 6 years since when this game first announced in E3 2014, despite most people seem to get a lot of negative reactions to that because of, you know, bring back the actual gameplay formula from Mario Party 9, but on a shorter scale, which rather than taking, like, fix a lot of problems that with Mario Party 9 actually has, but you know, there might be still scenarios where if we come across into the next few stages or boards, as far as I like to say, that sometimes we get to come across into a lot of like losing half of your mini stars kind of segments worth noting for, which again we'll point it out whenever we get onto that stuff, but for now we'll probably guarantee we can able to get onto the forms of the actual mini boss battle right now. So yeah, the good thing about this board though is the fact that you would be able to get rid of the Boo when you come towards into that street light. And then when you're trying to able to actually just still have the Boo with you, then you don't have to worry about losing your mini stars again until likely later on. So either way though, let's go ahead and just face off against with the next boss, and it appears to be Mega Goomba's Ladder Leap, which we could have able to play that in yesterday's board, which is of course Mushroom Park, but either way though, kind of feels like out of order kind of bosses like that. So jump with 2, attack from above. So, and obviously the Mega Goomba boss fight was actually originated from, as what Piccolo had already established earlier, and now it appears to be on Mushroom Park. So even though the actual the normal mini boss in the Haunted Trail will have to be by the forms of Sledge Bro, but since we've not come across into that, this means that it might be a little bit of a waste of opportunity or something. I'm guessing it's like, well, you know what computer players looks like, they just sometimes always wants to pick different amounts of minigames as opposed to the same ones. So, well, the actual sensical boss fights in particular, but either way though, so let's go ahead and just keep on bashing into that Mega Goomba's head for quite a few times, whilst unlike in, you know, in Mario Party Star Rush that you have to collect apples in order to able to not defeat him, but just get the majority of the points. That's all you have to think about for several differences worth noting for. And along the way though is the fact that you have to dodge a lot of those waddle wings, as you can see right there, if you're trying to climb up to the ladder. So in case if you really don't able to actually take away all of your points and stuff like that. I think you're able to lose like 1 point, so even then it's not much, but either way though, that's all I can really think about it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of the same thing, so... See, I suppose there's another thing I totally forgot to mention after the events of the Mario Kart 64 Let's Play has been finished since about a week ago. That it turns out that in during forms of, well, we're still able to actually go ahead and just play through the Trick Tour in Mario Kart Tour. And it turns out that not only does it bring every single courses based off from tricks and stuff, but also that we got ourselves 2 new variations of the exact same characters, which there are Builder Mario and Builder Toad, which, kind of think about it, speaking of Builder Mario, recently, during about a few days ago, is that we got ourselves our new update for Super Mario Maker 2, which is pretty awesome, but at the same time, it was actually the final update, which I was like, aw, I kinda wish I just want to see the actual next extra game style, specifically based off from another 3D Mario game or something, specifically, God knows, it will be like Super Mario Odyssey, but nope, it was actually the last major update, and I was like, oh, that's kind of sad, because I just wish if the Mario Maker 2 will be a lot more, you know, a little bit more of a better update compared to the forms of how it does in the original game. Besides that, I was expecting if they're going to be added in some amiibo outfits or anything like that. Actually, let's go this way, because either way though, not only do we need to land on that dash space, so that way we can able to get even more mini stars in between. So either way though, let's go ahead and get ourselves the awesome glorious double dice block set. That should be pretty useful, especially noticeable if we still a little bit behind on those mini stars for that department, but either way though, let's see if... Oh, shoot. I can't believe... Oh, okay. Whew. That was actually really close, because thankfully, again, that just like the backspace in this game, if you somehow move again while you just manage to land on that spot, or on that space in particular, thankfully that the space does not affect it on you. So even then though, that, you know, it's a bit like the same thing for Island Tour, except, well, you know, you just have to go onto the actual vehicle rather than just moving independently, unlike Island Tour. So anyways, we have another battle minigame to deal with, so even then though, let's see what the next minigame we're going to be playing through. I don't know which ones we actually gonna go for, but at least we can able to play Fuzzy Flyers again, except rather than dealing with the reverse rules, instead we can now play it properly. So, collect clouds and head for the top. So, out of all the actual minigames, as we said this before, in terms of Mario Party 10 has to offer, this is by far one of my favorite minigames of the entire whole thing. Well, along with some other minigames even there as well, which we'll get into that as soon as we're able to, well, go into the next few weekends later or something. So either way though, in this whole entire objective in this minigame is just basically just collect clouds and then just, well, God forbid, just trying to avoid a lot of fuzzies, and also same applies to get to the top as well. So, yeah, it seems a little bit more standard fare. So, yeah, what the actual, the final major update for Super Mario Maker 2 they actually added in is some new power-ups based off from the forms of the 5 game styles in between. First of all, is actually a pretty obvious one, is the fact that we actually got ourselves the new power-up from the Super Mario Bros. Game style, which is basically, it's like, you get yourselves a different mushroom from the likes of Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Super Mario USA kind of game in Japan. Like, you know, with the Doki Doki Panic game, but with Mario character slap onto it. Like, you know exactly what Piccolo's trying to say for this point right here. So yeah, in addition to those kind of stuff, yeah, I thought that Luigi might actually go ahead and just do that. So in this case, we have to take a boo either way, so either way though, we'll have to able to accept that. On the other hand, we could at least manage to able to use the actual double dice block set, so that way we could able to get ourselves even more mini stars from over there to the distance here, so we can get 2, And let's get ourselves our 6 here, so we can at least manage to... we got 1 padlock left. But, since after all, we almost there to the forms of the home stretch segments, this means that, well, after all, we don't have to worry about the forms of trying to free Bowser anytime soon. But, regardless of such, let's go and play another minigame, because, well, we feel like we're gonna be able to actually just, just trying to do that. Can't believe we're actually almost nearly towards the end of this board already, which... Again, it's kind of a shame because we were expecting to believe of how the fact that most of the boards or most of the stages goes a little bit longer, but I digress. Ground Pound Pro, aka in the USA version, it just calls it Found It and Pound It. So even then, ground pound with 2 to jump and press 2 again to do a ground pound, any images that matches the screen. So even then though, we need to simply just try to find exactly the same image as was shown on screen, and I think we actually gonna have to go through 3 rounds in particular, so hopefully we should be able to actually just define those in particular stuff. Oh, jeez, Spike. So, they managed to have Super Mario Bros. 2 Mushroom from Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Super Mario USA in Japan, which is pretty cool though, but unfortunately we didn't get ourselves the actual proper thing that's we have hoped it for. But regardless of such though, we still managed to get ourselves the actual proper changes to some movesets based off from Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Super Mario USA in Japan, which you can able to pick up enemies from, including projectiles as well. Sorry for a little bit of a belchiness has been going on at this point in time, folks. I do apologize for that. And well, before we get on to that, however, though, I'm presuming that I think we're now on to the actual home stretch. Oh wait, we actually 1 space left. So either way, though, let's see how this goes basically until whenever we get towards the end of this. For the sake of these parts right here. So either way though, let's go ahead and let Wario get himself rather 4. So that way I think the reason why he's gonna go for all that stuff is because, well, pretty sure he might as well get some more mini stars. So, if you couldn't tell already about the fact that if you couldn't tell, that we not freed Bowser from that cage. So this is what happens if you do manage to able to not let Bowser get out of the cage, and Blue Toad specifically will say something like, look, Bowser will stay locked up. And so the only number we have got left is 3. So instead of Bowser taking charge with the actual Bowser Spaces department, instead Bowser Jr. takes in charge instead. So it's been like kind of like the same thing for accidentally free Bowser and stuff like that, except the major difference is that, well, it only happens during at the very end of the board. Well, only one exception, which we'll get into that at some point during, I would say the next 2 weeks or something. So that way we can able to mention about the actual major differences between the rest of the boards in this game compared to the very finale board of the whole entire game. So, but then again, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves for this point just yet, because even then we not exactly got into that point. So I get a feeling that Luigi might able to use the slow dice block, so that way he could able to... I would classify for saying that not only does he'll able to actually collect 10 more of those mini stars, but able to go back so that he can grab some more from below. So anyway though, another power-up they actually just now finally added into Mario Maker 2 update, and that was the fact that we finally got ourselves our proper frog suit from Super Mario Bros. 3. So it's pretty cool though, especially noticeable that it might actually play out very similar to, in the ones in Super Mario Bros. 3, which we're very glad about that. And also in Mario World, that we actually got ourselves, or Super Mario World I should say, that we finally got ourselves a proper returning of the P-Balloon. And in fact, it actually plays out a lot differently compared to the forms of how it does it in the original Super Mario World. Is that rather than just having ourselves a limited amount of time until you're able to actually decide able to move and all that stuff, instead we can able to actually just to go whenever we go, specifically whenever we well, just manage to float, or even in this case, just fart around. Which is kind of weird, honestly, but at least it's pretty cool to able to have the P-Balloon manage to finally make its return. And speaking of which, another power-up they actually now added in the new Super Mario Bros. U style, not what appears to be by the forms of, well, the Super Acorn, which we're very glad that power-up was a thing now, so even though it makes the actual definitive way it's able to notice something like this. So, pretty cool though, especially noticeable how the fact that we've now got, you know, some power-ups returning. And finally, perhaps even most notably, is that I'm presuming in Super Mario 3D World style, oh jeez Louise, why is everyone getting onto the backspace? Ah jeez, it's like the evil backspace all over again in one of those Mario Party 9 videos from the past. Like, we've seriously watched that time and time again, and for whatever reason, most players really wants to get more mini-stars from that, for the sake of that part, so, oh well. Alright, so looks like Luigi's gonna get himself a 2, so unfortunately he will land on that Bowser Jr. space after all. So in this case, he would be able to come across into battle for 10 mini-stars. So hopefully we would be able to play another mini-game in particular, so in this case we can able to get even more mini-stars in between. So anyway, the final power-up they actually did added in, and that was the fact that, have we played this mini-game before? I'm pretty sure we played this before, because even then though, ever since in yesterday's video, specifically in Mushroom Park board, that, I'm pretty sure we've already played this before, so hopefully we should be able to be rewarded with a whole bunch of mini-stars for the sake of time. So anyways though, they actually now finally added in the Boomerang Flower from the likes of Super Mario 3D World style, which I will say, it does look pretty cool to be able to actually bring that power-up back, but unfortunately most people seem to be able to find this a bit disappointing. They don't include the Double Cherry power-up, because it might actually be pretty cool if they actually added that power-up, but sadly though that's not the case this time around though, and that could be also the same applies for that, what was the power-up they, most people seem to be hoping for? Actually, to be honest with you, Piglet, I actually have no idea. But, apart from those side of things, though, the one impressive thing about the forms of that final major update for Super Mario Maker 2, and that is creating your very own world, which I was like, oh man, this will become more accurately, I would classify for saying this right now, we might possibly make some of the levels based off from Super Mario Generations or something, like, you know, from the original Super Mario Bros. All the way up to Super Mario 3D World style of levels or something. But then again, this is all depending on the forms of the community might able to actually still go strong, so... Oh no! You gotta be kidding me. What's wrong? We're off by 1 space to able to get to the boss battle. Oh jeez, this could be bad though. Oh, screw you! Screw you, Bowser Jr. Ah. So there goes our half portions of our mini-stars, so... yeah, that sucks. Ah. We're really hoping we can able to win this for sure. If only if we could possibly make it happen. I do apologize for the background noise you'd be hearing, because there's a lot of, you know, birds trying to able to whistling about. But I digress. Alright, let's take care of this boss battle now from the Haunted Trail, and let's see what boss fight we're fighting against is Chemic's Rocket Rampage, which despite it was not the proper boss fight in Haunted Trail, that belongs to the forms of King Boo, mind you, but then again, computer players are idiots sometimes. Grab missiles and press 2 to attack. So, if I recall correctly, this boss fight is actually originated from Airship Central board, which we've not come across into that board just yet though, until likely next week. So we can expect we can able to actually just to come across into that if possible. So, anyways, let's begin. Even though after the events of Mario Party 9, that after he's becoming a playable character in that game, apparently though, between Mario Party 10 and Mario Party Star Rush, that he no longer becomes playable and he decided to become a boss battle. And even then, that unlike in Mario Party Island Tour and Super Mario Party, that they did manage to make him as a host kind of host character or something, like replacement for Bowser, because Bowser becomes a playable character in Super Mario Party as well. So, but then again, we'll point it out whenever we get onto the Bowser Party mode, likely until next 2 weeks' time. So, either way though, all you have to do in this minigame is the fact that you have to keep on, you know, firing those missiles right back at him. So even then, that's all you really have to do for the sake of this entire battle. So even then, there's nothing, you know, nothing too much to say here apart from dodging a lot of bullet bills in between. So, but you know, you get the idea. So yeah, with the actual ability that you can able to create the actual, your own super world from yourself is actually a really cool idea that you can able to make your entire map out of it. So even though that's the only cool part about it. But the only thing is disappointing to me though with the final major update, for those most people seem to already notice, is the fact that they still have not fixed the online multiplayer of the forms of, well, let's just say a multiplayer versus mode. We've especially noticeable with the co-op mode, that because the actual lagginess is still randomly decided to show up. And then, especially noticeable how the fact that why did they able to actually just not even just trying to fix everything for in terms of online versus matches or something. But I'm just a little bit too nitpicking right here, but that's how it goes basically. And also not to mention though, I don't know what's anything else, there's anything, well, aside from the absence of the amiibo costumes after all. So in this case, about the fact that we have no idea why did they actually ignore the actual fixing online features, specifically, well, playing against with your opponents across the world problem, and all the other stuff in between. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. So even then though, onto the award ceremony in Haunted Trail Board in Mario Party 10's Mario Party mode. And let's see what bonus stars we can able to hopefully achieve. So we got ourselves the Dice Star, which was rewarded by not only us, but Spike and Warrior as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And minus stars goes to us because sadly we lost a whole bunch of mini stars due to Bowser Jr. himself. So in this case, we did manage to win this, no problem. So either way though, we classified able to win the entire board. Although again though, the only thing is like super upsetting is the fact that we can't able to see our detailed results specifically apart from the graph. So yeah, that's all there is to know. So either way though, that's how it goes. Alright, so that is now a superstar. And it's we're kind of glad that we actually played as her as well after a long amount of years or something, because even then though, unlike, you know, the top 100, and especially noticeable with Super Mario Party, that both of these characters aren't playable on those two games, so how's that for that one? So either way though, we won by 7 mini stars by Wario, and yeah, as you can see on this little photo icon right there, it tells you the highlights of the actual run-through of some of the boards, like start of the mini star comeback. So that's gonna be one of those things about the fact that we could at least expected that. So dang, looks like Spike and Wario are actually pretty close in second place positions, so except for Luigi though. So I guess we should probably end things off here, so join us next weekend for more of Let's Play of Mario Party 10. It's the fact that we're going to be moving on to the third board in Mario Party mode, and that's what appears to be Whimsical Waters. So see you guys on next Saturday. Later fellas!